political fight. We have a great guest, but first our weekly update. President Trump has several weeks of turmoil inside his White House. Last week, his press secretary, Sean Spicer, resigned. Trump then hired Anthony Scaramucci, also known as the Mooch, to be his communications director. Anthony gave an interview to the Ryan Leza of the New Yorker and accused President Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, of being a leaker. He also used very bad words to describe both Reince and Steve Bannon. He said all of these things on the record, so they were printed in the article. Many people were shocked that the president's spokesman would use such foul, mean language to describe other members of Trump's inner circle. Donald Trump replaced Chief of Staff Reince Priebus with General John Kelly, who was the head of Homeland Security, proving once again that Trump knows approximately 5 people. Anyway, John Kelly started on Monday morning and then promptly fired Anthony Scaramucci after just 11 days on the job. Some feel General John Kelly will bring much needed stability to the Trump administration, while others feel there will be no real change because Donald Trump is the problem. In international affairs, North Korea claims they have an ICBM that could reach the U.S. mainland. Some refuse to believe this, but even the potential threat is alarming. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson reached out to North Korea this week, telling them we are not their enemy and encouraged them to come to the negotiating table. President Trump released an outline of his immigration policy. It would be a policy that will favor more educated and skilled immigrants as opposed to favoring people who already have a family in the USA. Many people feel it is un-American. Transcripts of President Trump's conversation with the President of Mexico and Prime Minister of Australia were leaked. They show President Trump acting like an immature bully. Trump responded by having the FBI form a new unit to go after leakers.
From 1948 to 2017, Israel has been a place of conflict. Israel has fought many of its neighbors, and more recently, Israel has fought jihadi groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. Israel was created to be a safe place for Jews, but the creation of Israel has created new conflicts. There are fights over land, democracy, religion, and even recently metal detectors. As heavy conflict rages in the West Bank to Jerusalem, can a compromise with its neighbors save Israel's? Peace is something that is rare in the Middle East. As the Hamas keeps digging tunnels, will there ever be peace? We have guests from Israel.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Itai.
Hi, my name is Eldad.
My name is Roy.
And I'm Umar.
Ready for questions?
Yeah.
Our first question is, what is the main problem in the Middle East?
Someone wants to answer it first? Omar, maybe?
Omer,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah.
Answer some stuff.
Okay. I think that Israelis tend to focus on their own problems, like the Palestinians and the domestic issues, but I think that these days the main problem of the Middle East is probably Syria and the war in Syria. I mean, there are 4 million, like 5 million refugees, and in total 10 million people that are out of their houses, because there are like 6 million that are within Syria that lost their homes.
But
So,
that doesn't have anything to do with that. Just
With the
if I'm
Middle
referring,
East.
no, if I'm referring to Israel in that question, it's a big issue that has actually nothing to do with Israel, because the issue is inside Syria.
Yeah, but the
bet-
question was, what's the problem? What's the main
Yeah, I'm
problem
just
in the
saying
Middle
we're
East?
as guests from Israel, and
Yeah, but
talking about
we
Israel.
live in the Middle East, so we can ask that.
I know, I'm just saying, just FYI, it has nothing to do with Israel, because the problem is between the rebels and the government and the war that's going on with ISIS and everything.
and of course it affects Israel in many ways.
Do you see a path to a resolution between Palestine and Israel?
So this is a really complicated question because like there's a lot of sides and opinions in between the Israel people and the Palestinian people. I think both nations would like to achieve peace, but it's really hard right now because like from our side, from the Israeli side, you need to remember that we have Hamas in the Gaza Strip, which is can't she don't recognize Israel as a real state, and it's always against us. So Hamas is very eager to fight Israel, and it's really equipping itself all the time and try to prepare itself to the next war. And in the other side, in the West Bank, there's a lot of frustration, both from the army and both from the Palestinian government, because some of the Palestinian people in the West Bank aren't satisfied with the government of the Palestinian people, and they want to achieve change. So some of them take very hard actions, they go and stab and do
Stereotypes.
and they they would like to achieve change, but doing actions that are very extreme. And some would choose to do things other ways, in protesting. There was a protest near the Har HaBayit. How do you say Har HaBayit?
Temple Mount.
Yeah, in the Temple Mount there was a lot of protesting, and there's a lot of frustration between the two sides. So it's a really complicated question. I think the main thing that would get us closer to peace is to work more for to change Hamas's policy to recognize Israel and then achieving two states, and Hamas and Abu Mazen's government to cooperate, and it's a really complicated question.
בסדר, אני צריך את כל ההיסטוריה.
בסדר, אז דבר אתה.
לא, קצר ולעניין.
I think that there's a bunch of solutions right now to the problem in the Israel-Palestinian conflict. It just depends what is your political statements are, and which solution you agree with and which solution you do not agree with. So that's I think what it's all about.
What's the solution for the Middle East?
Solution for the Middle East. First of all, we should
Maybe Russia?
should acknowledge that the Middle East has a lot of issues, and each issue has a problem for itself. So you can't fix one thing and everything, and all of a sudden we'll have peace in the Middle East. Syria is one issue. The Palestine-Israel is another issue. What's going on with ISIS, for example, in Egypt is another issue. So maybe I think I don't know how to. Actually, I'm not a politician, but if the world, the big countries in the world,
The big countries just.
Yeah, America, the empires. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. If they'll unite and to figure out how to fight against Islam, radical terrorist terror issue in the Middle East, that's
but that's
a step towards it.
it's an idea. It's really hard to fight against.
Of course.
An idea. You can eliminate ISIS, and you can end a Syrian war, but this is something that is bigger than one war, or those differences go way back.
Yes,
and
I don't think an outside person can come and solve the problem.
It's I would come to you and say, let's kill the Zionistic idea. Okay.
I'm just saying, what's the big problem right now in the Middle East besides countries that are not functional is, I think, it's radical terrorism that's going on, and it's a problem that we cannot cooperate or
There are also a lot of financial problems.
Of course, but you have them also in Africa, for example, or in countries in the Southern East Asia. it's a problem, but it's not the Middle East problem. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Do you- So, do you think Jared Kushner could solve the Middle East problem?
Who?
Jared Kushner.
about to say one.
I think it could help, but I really think the
He's
solution
an
would
accountant. I
like
don't think he could help.
like the solution should come like from the
I really hope so.
yeah the solution should come from like the people in the countries, like from the inside. They should like achieve an agreement or like try different politics and stuff, but it's I don't think like an outside source could like
Also influence.
yeah could solve our issues.
Bill Clinton tried.
Yeah.
And he was a
Yeah. I don't know how
politician.
Jared Kushner is
Yeah, it's kind of
compared to.
So are jihadis the problem in the Middle East?
who again?
Jihad.
Jihads. Okay.
They're one problem.
They're a main problem, but
It's,
it's not the only one.
It's like
right?
fundamentalism. That's the right term.
Yeah.
It's one problem. Yeah.
Radical
it's not the
Islamic,
main, yeah.
like any other radical group, is a problem.
And it's influencing not only the Middle East, we can see right now it's influencing the world after the attacks we have constantly in Europe right now,
Yeah. The U.S.
the US. So it's a problem that's rising and like affecting not only the Middle East, but globally affecting.
Stuff.
The Israelis gave Trump intelligence about the potential airline plots coming out of a terror cell in Syria. Trump then passed the information on to the Russians. In light of this, do you think Israel can trust Trump with the classified information?
Well,
Um,
that's a big question to answer.
Mhm.
For me, I don't think so. He doesn't seem a stable man, to be honest. For referring to it, the way he handles issues and manages his own day-to-day life. So, top secret intelligence information is, I think, not something I can trust with. You think Omar, you can trust him? You think you can trust him as a?
I'll refer to the collaboration between the U.S. and Israel in generally.
Great.
I think it's we have a really warm connections, yeah, and relationship, and it's really efficient and helpful for both sides. So I don't know about Trump, and I don't know about specific events, but it's more than necessary, and it's crucial for us and for you guys as well, I think.
Would a deal with the Hamas help Israel?
Which deal?
Like any deal?
Any deal?
With the Hamas?
Well,
It's hard for Hamas to like go to negotiate, even to negotiate with Israel, because Hamas don't recognize Israel as a state. Like in the last war between Israel and the Gaza Strip, we talked through a metavech, how do you say it? Like a third source,
Middleman.
and a middleman, yeah.
third party.
A third party, like sometimes it was Egypt, and sometimes it was like the government in the Palestinian West Bank, like which do recognize us as a state. So the negotiation directly with Hamas would have to conclude like recognition of our country by Hamas, and this is like a very hard thing to achieve when they don't see us as a.
It's hard to achieve
It's
peace with
hard to
people
achieve.
that want to
it's not-
exterminate us. So
Yeah.
first of all, we need them to not acknowledge us as a country, and
Mhm.
then
So acknowledge it.
yeah.
Yeah. hmm So it's really hard to treat with them, but like if they sometimes the Hamas treats with the like government in the West Bank, which we can negotiate with. So it can be like reformed, but it's really like complicated and very hard to do.
Do you think America's military would be stronger if it made service mandatory like Israel?
Is the American army strong?
If they'll have the like Israel when military is mandatory, you have to join in the army.
And it,
It will make the
Um,
U.S. military stronger.
So the army will be stronger, but it will like require more
Sources.
more sources, more like resources, more like sources of
money and equipment. I
yeah,
think.
money and equipment.
But I don't think so, because if it's not mandatory as in Israel, it means it's a professional army. Like in Israel, the problem is that we need to, because we need the people. We draft everyone from the age of 18, so it like not everyone from the age of 18 is capable of
joining the army.
contributing anything, benefiting the Israel army. So if you're just like making something like
more selective.
selective, exactly, you get to select the people, and you have more money. And I think the American army is big enough.
Yeah, and the reason we recruit to the army is because we don't have a choice. If they wouldn't be like a big enough army, so we will be drowning in our conflicts with the other states. And America is not in this situation. Like you don't have like to recruit any person because you don't have like like immediate threats.
And also, America has 310 million people. We have 6 million people that we can recruit. So there's a difference with the population and amount of soldiers. So it's
The military is also like embedded in our culture. It affects on a lot of stuff, and it's like part of the I'd say average
Israeli experience.
Israeli man
Life.
or woman. Yeah. So it goes both sides. It has its advantage on the society and also the disadvantages of like normal
Course of life.
yeah, normal course of
Yeah.
life, normal course of growing up.
Like a lot of the tax money we pay is going to the army, which we need to fund the army and like can't like to invest it in other stuff. Like we have to put the money in the army's hands, and you like can invest in other things like your environment, your resources, your everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so can Israel help Syria? Or
I don't think so, because Israel as a country has its own domestic problems, and we're a bit over our head with our own problems, and we can't deal with other problems that other people. Like we are involved as much as it concerns us, and when it's a bit over that, like a bit over our concerns, so we can't deal with it right now.
Israel can't fix Syria, but we do help. We help with humanitarian assistance, and we provide them with medical care, and we treat refugees and wounded people.
Yeah, they
So
come to the border of
Yeah.
Israel. Sometimes the border of Israel and Syria, people that
sometimes we go.
are refugees,
Yeah.
and help them, and just with medical issues and stuff like that. Just
We
medical
help
treatment. Yeah.
protect them, and we help them with medical treatment as much as we can. So we are doing things, but we can't solve the problem. I've got a question for you guys, if that's okay. What is the image of Israel
In your eyes.
in your minds, in your eyes? What do you think about Israel, and how do you see it from the things that you hear around here?
Well, I think they should help. They should let in a ton of refugees, and well, not a ton, but more refugees, and I think if they did that, there would be. I think they need to have more. I think they need to include make Jews and Muslims feel the same instead of feeling one's better than the other.
Why do you think that one is better than the other in Israel?
Like, I think Jews are treated much better than Muslims.
In which way, like, as in laws or in like in everyday life? Like, if there's a line that a Jew comes in first in the line and the Muslim will come second, or like
No, just culturally.
Yeah.
You know.
culturally? Well, Israel is a Jewish country, so naturally it has advantages for Jewish people, but it's not because it's like it comes from a place of racism or hate for the other. It's just that this is how the country, this is what the country is based on. So I don't think like there's like discrimination in the. I don't think there's like a discrimination as bad as you might think there is. It's just that this is what the country is.
The home to the Jewish.
Yeah.
What were you about to say, Ken?
I think it's a good place. When I think of it, I think of a place where people are treated correctly. And I think the Muslims and Jewish should get together a little better. And that's all.
Yeah, get along.
Most of the people like in Israel, even in the West Bank, I knew some like people who worked in my city, which are Arabs, and they told me about the daily life, and the common people would like to achieve like a regular life with no like terror attacks and no army activities that hurts one another. Everyone wants to like go on with his life without like disruptions, and I think this is like the main goal of the common people, but
Some radical people don't want
Yeah.
that. They want other stuff.
Both sides have radicals.
Both are as radicals, and that's what people mostly hear about. Because that's what's interesting. You don't hear about the common people. You hear about the radical ones.
Is it your question?
Well, I think we'll kind of come with the episode.
I will know question. Do you think settlements are a threat to the Israeli peace?
I think in far future, right now, I don't see a way of a peace agreement by how things are going right now. But if there will be a two-state solution, building settlements all over like, the West Bank will be a problem because the future resolution will be to probably have concentrate the bigger settlements, leave them as islands inside the West Bank, inside the future Palestinian country. So building settlements, small settlements all over the West Bank will probably prevent some sort of idea because you will have to evacuate them later on. Because right now there are big cities, Jewish cities, that we know that won't be evacuated if there will be a two-state solution. So should keep them concentrated, not all over the West Bank.
So you would think it would be like Gaza, what happened in Gaza was not to
Withdraw?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yes. 'Cause
If there would be like a two countries solution, so there'll have to be some evacuation.
There will
But-
have to be like ground change. Like some ground will need to be moved to the Palestinian side and vice versa. So, but that's assuming we'll be talking about two-stage solution and it will be agreed on both sides. So I don't think that right now it's a problem because right now it's two-state solution.
It's really far
it's
away.
a solution like all other solutions that are there. They all exist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
And been a political fight.
Stay tuned for our next episode.
Yeah.